Good morning, sorry, good afternoon actually. It's because it's 12:30 in the afternoon here in Toulouse, France. Today we are flying on the Easyjet A321neo with the LEAP CFM engines from Toulouse up to London Gatwick today. So we have spawned in already, flight is ready to go. I've already requested the our clearance. All we need to do is push back start, get on the way. So as you can see, classic Microsoft Flight Simulator, the jetway is connected apparently. Looks like there's a bit of a jump from the jetway into the cabin this afternoon. Of course, this is not the, this is just the standard airport that comes with the sim. I haven't got anything, I haven't got the add-on in this one. Haven't been game enough to fly with, load up any add-ons because I keep getting crashed to desktop, which if you watched the last stream you will know sucks. There have been 2 updates to the flight sim for Xbox anyway. I'm not sure about PC, I would assume it's the same. And so far so good, knock on wood, haven't had any crashes at all. But we are loaded up, ready to go, so let's get this underway. So we've got about an hour, and God, I can't speak tonight. Today. I've got about an hour flying time, an hour and 10 minutes or so. So just a quick hop up to Gatwick, and like I said, we are flying in the A321neo with the LEAP engines. So you will see the absolute shitty climbing performance this aircraft and the sim offers. Not sure if that is true to life. It could be, but the Pratt & Whitney version of this aircraft in the game seems to have a bit of a better climb. Anyway, without any further ado, let's get into the aircraft. And what just happened to my jetway? And the jetway has retracted itself. That's fine. We can live with that. So I'll bring up the VFR map, get it out from under my logo, and oh, there's someone else who's spawned in. Who are you? Oh, we can't see you. Oh, you're just a little fella. Are you this one here? Looks like you are. Is it a Piper, maybe? I don't know, my small aircraft. Could be. Anyway, I'm just jabbering now. So, it's pretty much a straight out, we take off, head straight out, and pretty much head almost north, all the way up France. We will pass by, where is, am I far north enough? Oh yeah, so we'll go past Orly, Charles de Gaulle. We won't go over them, we'll go past them more to the west of both those airports. And then we will make our way over the, I just about said the Cook Strait, what country am I in? Over the English Channel and down into Gatwick, and it's pretty much straight in. Obviously, we have that bit of a dog leg to come in on the for the flight path, but we'll come straight down. We'll do a bit of a weather check as well, so I can bring up the Metar-TAF. And it's not showing up. Excellent. Why isn't it showing up? Let's make it show up. Oh, great. This is just great. It's not working for me. Never mind. We will get the data up. I think it's going to work now. The connection from the iPad to the PC just disappeared momentarily. And is it showing now? Maybe if I actually select it. Yay, now it's working. Okay, there we go. So this is Toulouse. We've got a 5 knot wind. It is not quite a headwind coming off the runway, but that is fine. We can deal with that. It's only 5 knots. 174 knots is our rotate speed today on this runway. We're on the longer runway of the two. I think it's around 3.5k long, 3,500 meters in length. So we will lift off long before we get to the end, which makes for an easier takeoff. Over into London Gatwic, it is a, the wind has changed since I loaded up, but that's fine. The two runways there only go in, they only lie in one direction anyway. And we are actually coming in on 26 left, which I have got the right one selected. An 8-knot wind. Will be a bit of a crosswind landing today. Not the greatest at crosswind landings, let alone standard landings, but we'll see how we go on this one. So let's get the party started, and we'll start our pushback and start. So we'll start with nav lights, of course, beacon light, strobe light will come on to auto. Now I am still having the issue with the Turtlebeach where these buttons down here, my fingers are running across, will just activate themselves mid-flight. Even during taxi, my parking brake will just randomly activate. So hopefully that doesn't happen during this flight, but I will keep an eye on that because it's a bit of a problem. This has only been happening since the last firmware update. I did try rebinding those buttons to see if that made any difference, and it did for one flight, but I think that was just a fluke, and because it did happen for the next one. But it's okay, we can live with it. It doesn't power our throttle down like it did in the last firmware update, so it's definitely an improvement. Better get the batteries on, and we'll turn the APU master switch on, wait those 3 seconds, and then we will start the APU. I'm also going to unroll the landing lights in preparation for takeoff. They will remain deluminated for now, and we'll fire those up as when we get our takeoff clearance. And yeah, the jetway is a bit disappointing. It's annoying when that happens more often than not. A little bit frustrating, but that's what you get for not paying for the add-ons, I guess. Okay, APU has started up. We'll get the seatbelt sign on, cut the external power, and we will retract the jetway. It's sort of, well, I mean, that's pretty much it, really. And we'll get the pushback tug into place and get us pushing back. Probably should turn the APU bleed on, otherwise we're going to suffocate the passengers. Get some fuel pumps going as well, because we definitely will need those. Ignition into start, and I will release the parking brake now, and we'll push back. We're going to be pushing back. So we're going to try and put the aircraft around here. So it's a bit of a long pushback with that turn. Oh, it was Air France who's come in from, is that Orly? Looks like they've come in from Orly, so they've just had a quick hop down south. And oh, there's someone else. LFBD, oh, I'm not sure, LFBD. It's another French airport, of course. Ram 792, I don't know the airline. Not sure what that is. We are flying in the Easyjet UK today too, so our call sign is Easy, and this is based on an actual route that they do fly with Easyjet. Not sure if they'd use the 21 for this flight, but we are today. And of course this has the so the flex cabin. I've got 235 passengers potentially on this flight. We could have that many, I'm not sure. Oh, LFBO, that's, oh no, LFBD. Never mind. Thinking out loud. We probably could actually start engine number 2 while we're doing this pushback as well, otherwise we're just going to be sitting here doing nothing. And that's not the that pushback is actually okay. We might be on the line, maybe slightly off. That's okay. So we're just going to stop it there. Maybe get that parking brake back on as well. And as per usual, we'll turn on the AI radio comms, so I don't have to worry about doing that. Just sit here and wait for our engine number 2 to start up. While we're doing that, I am actually going to just double check that our metadata is correct. 2.9.1. Oh, I haven't put in our cruising altitude today, which is flight level 360. Probably should turn on constraints, flight director, and the terrain as well. That is engine number 2 start up. We'll get engine number 1 started up. The hydraulic pumps should start pressurizing any second now as well, so we'll hear those going off. There they go. The sound of this aircraft is a little bit it's a little bit quiet on those hydraulic pumps compared to the Pratt & Whitney version. Okay, there's our taxi line. We'll just see where we're going for our taxi. Oh, it's just straight down there, so I actually don't need that. We can turn that off. And we'll go flaps 1 today. I've already programmed that in, and we will activate, we'll arm the spoilers also. Let's just wait for engine number 1 to get up to power, which is barely a second away. There it is. So we can get the APU all off. Taxi light will come on, and we will put the ignition back to normal. Parking brake can come off as well, and we'll get some power into those leaps. So it's much slower starting to get the aircraft moving with the LEAP engines compared to the Pratt & Whitney. Actually, I haven't checked. Oh, take that view. There's nothing sort of there. No, clear to the right. So the engine's around 35% and we're sort of barely moving. I know we're turning, but just don't give us the speed like the PWs do. There's a few aircraft in Toulouse this afternoon. Of course, home of Airbus is right dead ahead in front of us. So where this aircraft would have maybe taken its delivery flight from, I could be wrong, it could have been Germany that this aircraft took its delivery flight from. Not actually sure if they do they assemble the narrow bodies in Toulouse, or is it just the wides? Anyway, Toulouse is considered the home of Airbus. And Easyjet UK, they do have 10 of these in their fleet at the moment on last check. So I have got a few liveries for this airline, for this aircraft that, and the real world airlines don't even fly this plane, but supposedly they will in the future. Oops. So we got over there. Oh, just another little Piper. So it takes a bit longer to pick up the speed for the taxi. You don't want to push the engines much higher than 35% for taxi. There are some airports you have to taxi at 45% because for some reason the plane just sticks to the ground. It seems to be the higher altitude the airport, the more power you have to use for taxiing. Again, I don't know how accurate that is in the real world. I would have assumed that with physics it would be the same, because I don't think the altitude would make that much of a difference with the in the air, but it is what it is in the game. So pretty much just taxi all the way to the end of this, make a right turn, and we should be on 3-2 left. That wind looks like it has picked up, so I've got a 6 knot wind now. but it is more of a headwind than it was previously. It has moved around, so it's 310 at 6, so that should be fine. We'll try not to tip the aircraft and get a wing strike on takeoff. It seems to be quite easy to do in this, also in this aircraft in this sim. While we're taxiing, I'm just going to double check, did I turn the seatbelts on? Yes, I did. Beacons are on, navs are on, strobes are on auto. Yep, no, we're all good there. We should have flaps at 1, speed breakers armed. Very, very clear day for flying as well. Just in case you don't know, I always fly in live time and live weather. I think it just makes it a bit more interesting. It could have been pouring with rain for all I knew in Toulouse. I didn't actually check the weather before I spawned in. Yeah, it just makes it a lot more interesting to fly everything live, I think. And yeah, it is a bit of a short trip for this size of an aircraft. I mean, of course, there's no reason why the A321neo wouldn't do just an hour-long flight because it's more for the volume of passengers than the size of the aircraft. But I'm pretty sure Easyjet would only fly their 320s in and out of Toulouse to Gatwick. Yeah, that standard Microsoft Flight Simulator grass. It's looks the same no matter which country you're in. Probably should put on the brakes before we make the turn. I really want to turn it. 16 knots is probably a bit too much. I will put the ATC window on just to get that clearance. There's nothing coming in. Doesn't look like there's anyone coming in on 32 left, which is good. See how accurate the QNH reading is on the Metar app compared to the game as well. Okay, we'll just stop about there. Why don't we get clearance? Oh, you know why? Because this is 3-2 right. I've just taxied to the... Well, I haven't taxied the wrong runway, but I probably should have actually made my turn further up. So I technically have taxied to the wrong runway. That's my bad. Who was ATC on that one? I have started taxiing without the blue guidelines by trying to read the signs, but they're a little bit small, a little bit hard to read. I've got a decent sized monitor too, a 32-inch 4K monitor. So they are clear enough to read, but I'm still getting used to doing that. Obviously, I'm not a pilot in the real world. This is as close as I get to piloting aircraft in the sim. I think we want to make a left here, and that will take us onto 3-2 left. Oops, drop that speed, that power just a little bit too much. Of course, I'm still relying on the Yoke triggers for my rudder and also my brakes, Turtlebeach have announced that they are releasing a Velocity 1 rudder set, which I'm very excited about. I've been waiting for. I've heard rumour that they were doing it, but it is now official. If you head over to the Turtlebeach Canadian website, for some reason, you can sign up to be on their mailing list, so they will email you once they are ready to go. Oops, I was told to stop taxiing. Oh, kind of ignored that. Oh well. Actually interested to see why they told me to stop taxiing. Oh, the traffic will be frickin' ground traffic. But I'm going to tune the tower. Should have done that for me automatically. I'm going to request takeoff clearance, and we are clear for takeoff 32 left, 29.91. Wind 309 at 6, so it's pretty accurate there. Metar is saying 310 at 6, so I'm happy with that. Okay, so we'll get some landing lights on. Seatbelts already on. We'll just double check flaps are at 1. Speed breakers armed, and we'll get this 47 metre long bird out onto the runway and get her in the air. There's nothing coming in. There is someone coming in on 32 right, so we just got off the runway in time there. Was it the traffic in front of us that was going to tell us to wait for? Yeah, no, fuck off. Okay, go into standard takeoff view. Runway is clear. Not a bad turn. We're going to push the nose in just a little bit and get up to 50% power. Or thereabouts. 55, that'll do. Okay, holding steady at 55. Let's go up to flex and we'll get up into the air. So I might just have to have a little, like, slight amount of right rudder just to keep her in centre line. Passing 80, 90, 100, release the nose. 174 is our rotate speed. Oops. Deviating just a little bit. It's 150. 67 and rotate. Positive rate, gear coming up. Might be just a bit of a steep climb. We'll drop that down to about 32-ish. See, the climb power's shit. Like, I'm not even reaching going above 190. Oops, probably should have dropped that flap. I'm going to put it into auto. Probably have my flap out just a little bit too long. And we should be climbing, I think, 7,000? 6,000, I forget what it said. Climbing to 6,000. So the Pratt & Whitney engines will be climbing at around 3,200 feet per minute now. These leaps are doing 2,600 feet per minute, so they're just not as good. They do sound good though. Just double check that we are aligned, and to climb we are, and we'll disengage the spoiler. And in fact, we can put our nav display out to 320 miles since it's pretty much a straight shot up to Gatwick. Okay, getting close to 6,000, so what's going to take us to next? There we go, 14,000, still 298,901 for the QNH. quite green going over France. They are coming into, or if they come into autumn, as they move into the cooler months. I don't know if it's meant to be green at this time of year. I would assume so. Oh, it's taking ages to get up to 10,000 feet. When I did decide on this route, I was sceptical about using the 321 with the leaps, but I mean, I have to do it. Otherwise, it's just going to be flying the same plane all the time. And this is, I think, what, the fourth stream, and I'm still flying the 321. There will be some variety eventually. So that's 10,000 feet, so we will get the landing lights will come off. And then at 18,000 feet we will, I mean, it's not going to be much difference, 2992 is our standard, but we will put it to standard regardless. Of course, you see above 10,000, so we are cruising up to flight level, a speed of 320 knots, and the climb performance just drops. So with 1,500 feet per minute, it is just crawling up. Again, there's not too much of a difference in the Pratt & Whitneys when you go into a speed change, but this one just does not like it at all. I think it would prefer to climb at 250 knots all the way up to cruise altitude, but then you're running the engines for a long time after reaching that to get up to max speed of 0.78, so just let it be. So I just realised my background music is still playing. Been playing the whole time. Let's turn that off. That's something to watch out for in the next stream. That is annoying. At least the it fades when I talk, I guess. I need a stream checklist under my monitor to tell me what to do. Oh, that's above 14,000, so... flight level 200. It's going to be a long climb up to 360. I almost guarantee we'll be able to see Gatwick on the nav display before we reach 360. Oh, it's taking its time. I'm going to whinge about the climb performance of this aircraft the entire climb, by the way. So just be prepared for that. And also, if you look on the webcam thing, I'm going to pull this little plastic thing off. You'll see a flashing orange light right there. That is, just above my finger, that is the Turtlebeach telling me I have low fuel. I've got just over 6.5 tonne of fuel, which is more than enough to get us to Gatwick with potential go around or diversion to a diverting airport. But for some reason, if you're below 40% fuel, the Turtlebeach says, nah, you've got low fuel. So it's a bit of a weird thing. So I have actually taped up the back of that light because I don't want to see it flashing for an entire flight. So I'll just ignore that. of course, the I'll just look at the system display in the game to tell me if I've got low fuel. But so we have passed flight level 180, so I've changed the QNH to standard, which is 29.902. Because there wasn't much difference between Toulouse QNH and the actual and the standard QNH above 18,000. And Gatwick, if I look at it, if we bring that up as well while we're climbing, again, where are you? We'll bring up London Gatwick. It's 29901 as well, so it's pretty much the same. I could have just left it, it wouldn't have made a difference. But I don't think you're allowed to do that. And see that wind coming across the runway is going to be more of a crosswind than it was before. So hopefully that wind doesn't change too much. In fact, if we look at the history, because we can on this, the wind has consistently been pretty much in the same direction for quite a few hours, so it shouldn't change too much at all. Oops, don't want to go to old data. Okay, so we have past 200. I wonder if it's going to give us 360 yet. 330. Still ridiculous climb performance. I think once we hit max speed at 0.78, so it brings our knot speed down. I think it does bring the nose up just a little bit. We do climb a little bit more, but we're still about 5,000 feet away from that happening. Check while we're waiting for this aircraft to climb. We'll check if there's any other aircraft in the area. There is no one. Skies are, oh, there's a few more at 150 miles away, but pretty much the direction we're going, the skies are ours. There's a few up there at Marvac. Could be busy coming into Gatwick. It's a pretty popular airport in the sim. So we might have some go-arounds if I choose not to ignore them. Actually, I have noticed one thing the sim's been doing lately has been pissing me off, is there have been aircraft behind me who will get landing clearance before me, and then I get told that I'm number 2 for landing, even though there's nothing in front of me. And of course, when I come down to final approach, I then get told to go around for an aircraft that is behind me and hasn't landed yet, so I have been just visually making my own decisions if I'm going to land or not, and ignoring the go-around, and then trying to get my ass off the runway as soon as I can to allow the person behind me to land, because I'm a good guy like that. But there's just yet another glitch in the sim that just not sure why that's happening. It could be that they're a PC player and it reads it differently because I'm on an expert. I don't know. I'm just I'm not trying to cause a rift between PC and console players, because there shouldn't be one. But I think that's what's happening. I think the game reads the platform differently for some reason. Jesus, okay, we're almost at 250, so another 2,000 or just under, maybe 1,500 feet to go, and we'll be at max speed, and we might get a bit more of a climb than 1,200 goddamn feet per minute. This is ridiculous. Far out, 1,000 feet per minute climb. This is almost depressing. We're going to get to the the English Channel before we even reach 360, maybe. Maybe not. So I'm not sure how long you can run these engines at 88% for. But almost be sure it wouldn't be for this long. Well, that's 260, and it did tell us to climb to 260. No, it didn't. It was 330, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. It was 330. Finally, there's max speed, and the nose is... I did notice the nose went up just a little bit before, but it's gone up a little bit more now. I did a flight in this aircraft in the sim, oh, maybe about a week and a half ago. I can't remember where I was going. It was European, so it was a short trip. And I had to request a lower altitude. I think I was meant to get to 360 and I barely got to 280, and I think I just, in the ADC, I just requested a reduction of cruise altitude by 8,000 feet, because there's no point in even trying to get to 360. I'd be descending before I even got up there. Looks like the plane's flying level. That's how crappy the climb performance is in this aircraft. Which reminds me, I haven't actually turned on. I've got weather on, but I haven't got turbulence turned on as well. Better turn that on. How much can we see into Gatwick yet? We're getting pretty close to being able to see Gatwick on the nav display. So like I said at the start, I reckon we will be able to see it on the nav display before we reach 360 because of the shitty climb performance of this aircraft. Just waiting. This is a more boring cruise, Jesus. I didn't look at the chrono before we took off, but this would be, what is the time? Yeah, we've been climbing for over half an hour. I think the Pratt & Whitney gets up to altitude in around 20-25 minutes. This is just ridiculous. Well, flight level 300 finally. 3,000 to go, and then we'll probably be told to climb up to 360 for cruise. I don't want to jinx it, but our park brake hasn't turned itself on. The lights have remained as they should. Knock on wood. Yes, we've dropped back to 1,100 feet per minute climb. Just so slow. Gatwick is starting to appear as well. I can see our final approach course coming up on the nav display. I have flown this route a couple of times. I can't remember if I've flown in the 21neo with the leaps. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I have. Definitely done it in the A320 numerous times. That cloud actually looks like shit. I can see pixels. It's terrible. Oh, getting close to 330. Is it saying 360 yet? There it is. Climb and maintain 360. So we'll turn ATC off for the remainder of the cruise. We've got something coming towards us. Are they going to go over us? Sort of towards us. Should be one out to the right as well. Yeah, there you are. There he is. So it is a little bit busier as we come to Marvac. In about 15 years' time, we'll be at cruise. That's Ryanair 8980. Probably the PMDG 737, which I don't have yet. It's not available on Xbox Marketplace just yet, but as soon as it is, I will be getting it. The probably the 737-800. I don't care how much it costs. I'll be getting it, and then spending probably about a month learning how to fly the damn thing, because it's quite different to the Airbus. Oh, and of course, what are we? September, October, November. So we're about 2 months away from getting the Airbus A310, which will come free to all MSFS players, which I'm quite looking forward to. Looks like it's going to be a mix of gas and glass cockpit design. So the gas styles and the glass cockpit, which will be interesting. A little bit different to flying the 320 series, and of course they have a yoke, so I will finally have the right equipment for the aircraft, because I am flying a yoke in an Airbus, controversially. I don't have a side stick, I just have the yoke. Of course I did get this because I want the Boeing, but I'll stick with Airbus for now. And look at that, we're not even at 360. And I was right in guesstimating that we would see Gatwick on the nav display before we even reach our cruise altitude, which we can. Finally, so engines are winding down as we come up to cruise. They should power back up and then settle. So that was around, what, 40 minutes? 40 minutes from takeoff to cruise altitude. That is ridiculous. Maybe I should reduce my speeds and not let the computer take us up. I should just do it a bit more manually, and maybe we'll get there faster. Of course, doing that, you do compromise speed over climb, and you can only slow the aircraft down so much to climb before it like it has to maintain a certain speed, obviously, to stay in the air. But because we're at cruise, we can now turn off the seatbelts. Passengers are free to move about the cabin. But it's not going to be long before we have to point the nose back down to terra firma and get it on the ground anyway. So we'll just double check, what is our ETA? ETA is 11:51, it is currently 11:15. So very, very short cruise across Europe this afternoon. So we've just got the bit of the boring cruise, so I'm just going to nip off to the little captain's room for 5 minutes. I'll put it onto outside view and I'll stick the Be Right Back graphics across the screen just like that. And I'll be back with you shortly. So in around about 5 minutes I will be back with you. I'm back. Anything exciting happen? No, we're 240 nautical miles away from London Gatwick. So this is going to be a pretty short flight, as we know. We'll start our descent before, I think just before we head over the English Channel. And I'm just noticing, yep, as you can see, if I zoom in on here, my park brake has in fact come on, so we'll turn that off. And I also bet that means the spoilers have armed, well, they haven't armed this out, but our lights will be up the fuck. So we better turn the nav light back on, the beacon back on, the strobes can go back onto auto. Nothing else has changed. Just really not sure how to fix that error. I think that is on Turtlebeach. I don't think that's a sim doing that at all, because this has only just started happening since I did the latest firmware update for the Velocity 1. But maybe in the next firmware update they'll have that fixed. I might have to submit a support ticket to them for that. It's a bit of a pain. It's not the most exciting scenery. Let's check who's in the area. There's quite a few aircraft in the area. We can't really see much of them, probably because they're quite far away. Now the weather has changed just a little bit in Gatwick, so we've now got cloud cover down to 1900 feet. We might have had that before, I might have just missed that. We've still got that 8-knot crosswind coming across the runway from the northwest. So be a little bit of a crosswind landing. 8 knots is enough to push our aircraft or pivot our aircraft as we come in. So probably we'll rely on the ILS to bring us down to 500 feet, depending on how strong that wind is, and really try not to just mess up the landing. I had a few days off work due to a Lego Expo, which I was displaying at, and so that was over the weekend. So on the Tuesday, on the Monday, I got some flying time in. I was pretty exhausted after the Expo actually, but still managed to jump into the sim and did some flying in my native country of New Zealand. I live in Australia, but I'm from New Zealand, and it was bloody windy. So I did Wellington down to Queenstown. Of course, Wellington is renowned for being just epically windy. They call it Windy Wellington, such an original name, but it's one of the windiest cities in the world, allegedly. But I took off from Wellington. I didn't land there, so it was okay. It was not a bad takeoff. Coming to Queenstown, they had a 19-knot wind, mostly headwind, which is unusual because Queenstown Airport is nestled right in a valley between some ranges. Of course, you come down below the mountain line to land, so it's a bit of an epic landing. I imagine in real life it would be quite nail-biting when you do it for the first time. So that was okay, but then we went up to Auckland, which is an exposed runway, so it's at sea level and it's on reclaimed land. And for the first time ever, I had to do my do a go around due to just misaligning the runway just as the wheels were about to touch the ground. I got pushed violently to the left and just put it straight into a go around. I will say it was a beautiful go around. It really was. And absolutely nailed it. There was did it quite nicely, and then come in for an okay landing, and then got bored flying around New Zealand. So set the aircraft to jump. That was in the A320. Change over to the A321, and did a Trans-Tassie flight from Auckland to Brisbane, which is where I live. So most of that, a good 2.5 hours of that, was just sitting watching the autopilot. I may have gone over to the couch and watched a bit of TV while that was happening, and just sort of stuck my head around the corner to check on it. But the park brake has come on again, so I'll turn that off, and my lights would have all changed as well. Yeah, they have. It's kept the nav light on, it's kept the strobe on auto, but the beacon light's turned off. We kind of need that, and it's turned on my Well, it hasn't turned them on. It's turned on my taxi light and, oh no, it has. It's turned on the landing lights as well. I wonder if the spoiler has been armed. Yes, it has. So we'll disarm the spoiler. Oh, that's frustrating. It better not continue doing this through the flight, especially on landing. I've also had an error where coming into landing, my actually that happened on live stream too. Coming to New York, my gear retracted, went back up. What was I? 400 feet above the runway, and my gear decided to go up. So again, it's that Turtlebeach error that I just really don't know how to fix, and it's kind of doing my head in. Of course, the simple solution is move to PC and I won't have those problems, but if I move to PC I would not be using the Turtlebeach. I'd probably go for the Airbus packed by Thrustmaster, so I'd have a side stick and proper Airbus style throttle quadrant, but that all costs money and it's just too much at the moment. So just do an update on time. So we've got an updated ETA 12:03. So it has, yeah. So it was 11:51 before. So it has gone out by about 13 or 14 minutes. No, my math is out. 12 minutes. So what does that give us? About 45 minutes. Sorry, 35 minutes until we're landing. So in about 15 minutes time, we should start our descent down into Gatwick. Now fuel, we're sitting just above 5 tonnes, so plenty of fuel to get us across into the UK. And of course a bit of an interesting time in the UK at the moment with the Monarch passing on. Rest in peace, QE2. You're one of the best monarchs. I'm not a royalist or anything. I don't think I mean, this is controversial. I don't think the monarchy should exist. But of course, they've been around for thousands of years, so there's no changing that now. They are what they are, and now we have Charles III as our as the leader of our monarchy, with his horsewife, Queen Consort Camilla. But, as I said, I'm not a royalist, so I could not give two shits really about it all. It's just all entertainment. But that is happening right now. So the only thing I'm really happy about is we get a public holiday next Thursday here in Australia to commemorate the passing of our, is it commemorate? That's probably not the right word for the passing of someone. Say to celebrate the life of Queen Elizabeth II. So just about be about 10 or so miles and we'll come in under 160 away. Then we'll, so the computer will slow us down to 242 knots at around 120 nautical miles away, and then shortly after that we'll begin our descent down into Gatwick. And how high does Gatwick sit? It is at 202 feet, so take into account the 202 foot elevation in Gatwick as we come down. But I'll try and bring the aircraft down continuously. I don't want to be cruising at the same altitude for too long. I might just change that to the nav display to 160 now. It won't take too long to get down to 120. And just quick weather updates. The wind has dropped down to 7 knots. Still coming in at 310. But that cloud has thinned out. It's gone from broken cloud to scattered cloud at 2,200 feet. So it should be a pretty clear approach into Gatwick this afternoon. And let's just hope that the Turtlebeach doesn't start turning shit on any further along in the flight. Actually, like I said, before this firmware update, it was dropping the throttle down to 0 just randomly mid-flight. Real pain in the ass. And it would continuously do it. You'd actually have to exit out of the flight and start again just to stop it from doing it. And I could not figure it out. I thought it was the sim. I was just cursing out Microsoft for ages on that until we did this update, and then these the Quadrant buttons started doing their thing. So I've worked out it's definitely the Turtlebeach that is doing it. But, all in all, it's a pretty good piece of hardware. I'm quite happy with it otherwise. Mine does sit ever so slightly off centre to the right, but I'm not phased about it. I could have sent it back and got them to fix it or get a replacement, but I'm not too phased about it. For what it cost, it's fine. I'll just check ATC window and see if they've said anything to us. Traffic alerts, of course. Nothing's got really that close to us anyway. Pretty quiet on the ATC front otherwise. Just see if we've gone past Orly. I can't remember where they sit. Oh yeah, so Orly is way off to the east, and Charles de Gaulle is obviously way off to the east as well. So they are over somewhere over there. Hence the large clump of traffic around those airports. And there is an aircraft just in front of us, but we can't see it. Probably because, yeah, they're a bit too far away. Not even sure what altitude they're at. Can we see them straight out the window? No, we can't. So ETA still hasn't changed, still 12:03. It's about 10 more miles and we will start our transition, so we're going to 242 knots in speed. QNH in Gatwick has not changed the whole time, it's still 29901. There might be a little bit of cloud cover over the channel as we come across it. We shouldn't be too far away from it, really. Yeah, no, we're not far from starting to cross. So we'll probably start a descent at around VPET, and then we'll descend all the way over the channel and straight into Gatwick. Can we see how busy it is there yet? Are we close enough? No, we're not. There will be a lot of aircraft around there, especially because we have got Heathrow up here as well. And then Stansted, which is way up here somewhere. Is that EGSL? I think that's, is that Stansted? No, it's not. No, it's not Stansted. It's up there, so I can't remember its IATA code. Anyway. So the speed should drop fairly soon. And once it does, I'll chuck on the HTC window and just wait for our what am I trying to say? Our instruction to begin our descent. And probably start the descent at around 1800 feet per minute and then play it by ear from there. Ideally, you want to be descending at 1200 feet on final approach, and no more than. There it goes. There we go, down to 242 knots to begin our descent into Gatwick. So it will start telling us what to do fairly soon. Go as predicted. So we'll go down to 280. And I will dial up at 1800 down. Whoa, it took us straight down. That was interesting. Usually it sort of hovers around, so it takes us down to 700 feet per minute descent, and then it will jump back up to about 500 and then slowly bring us back down again. But this time it just jumps straight down, which is nice for a change, because usually then you'll get the ATC will start saying, please expedite your descent, which is kind of annoying. I'll turn that off until we get closer to 280. So we can see the English channel right in front of us as we turn to face it. And as we also get into the more interesting part of the stream, where we're not just sitting cruising at one altitude, I actually have to do stuff and things on the controls. So I want to be sitting around flight level 260 at 80 miles away, that maybe even a little bit below that, just because I have got to slow this bird down in 2 stages before we start putting flaps out, otherwise we get overspeed warnings. I have no idea if that's how it's done in the real world, none whatsoever, but that's how I do it in the game. It seems to work out pretty well. Looks like there's a little bit of wind out there, so we have, well, no, there's next to no wind. 6.5 at 4, it's, the aircraft is wobbling around just a little bit. So it looks like at this rate we should be down to 260 by 80 miles away. Of course there is that so that dogleg turn as well, so it does give us a bit more leeway. I probably will expedite our descent just a little bit too as we come down lower, just to drop down below, and just gives us a bit more room for descent. It's coming into 280. Okay, descend and maintain at flight level 200. I'm going to drop us down to 2,000 feet per minute. I just want to be a little less. Sorry, a little lower than 200 before we hit 60 miles away. Also keeping on the speed because it is just increasing just a little bit above 242, but that should be okay until we get to 20,000 feet. Again, at the other end of, so in Gatwick, I don't have the purchased add-on airport, just the standard one that comes in the game, but that's fine. Like I said before, I'm having troubles with the add-ons, where it just crashes to desktop on the Xbox because Microsoft Asobo cannot seem to sort out that memory issue. But with the last 2 updates, it has been a lot better, knock on wood. It's just absolutely heartbreaking when you invest so much time into these flights for it just to crap out at the very end. Hasn't happened on approach recently, which is good. And definite improvement with the frame rate as well. So if I go to outside view and just go like this, you see it's pretty smooth going around in circles. We are at 26,000 feet, so there's not a lot of detail for it to pick up. But they definitely have improved that. It doesn't seem to stutter as much. Hopefully I didn't give you motion sickness while I was spinning the plane around. There's company aircraft coming across in front of us. So they're flying the same call sign, the Easy. If we were flying Easyjet Europe, what would our call sign be? I haven't got it in here. Oh yeah, it would be Alpine. Yeah, so if we were flying Easyjet Europe, it would be Alpine, not Easy. Of course, with the whole Brexit thing, they've had to split off, split up all these airlines that were flying all across Europe. So I think Ryanair have done the same thing, like Ryanair UK as well, which is Blagnac. That's the Ryanair UK's call sign. And I think Wizz Air have done the same thing too. Let's have a look. Yeah, so you've got Wizz Air UK, which is Wizz Go, and then you've got Wizz Air, which is just Wizz Air. They've also got Wizz Dubai, which is Wizz Sky, but that's nothing to do with Brexit. Who else has split off because of the Brexit thing? British Airways have not, no. So yeah, just Ryanair and Easyjet from what I've got in my livery collection. Oh, okay, so there's flight level 200 at 60 exactly, so just need to maintain 16,000 feet. I'm going to continue doing that at 2,000 feet down, just again to try and get us below what we should be at, just to make it a little bit easier, especially the slowdowns, because we will we won't lose a lot of altitude when I do slow the aircraft down to 220 knots and then 200 knots, and we'll do that before we start putting flaps out, of course. Also, I like to put the seatbelts on just below 20,000 feet, so let's do that now. And I'm actually going to put the QNH in now because it is 29901, so I might as well just put it in now. We should be able to see how busy it is at Gatwick. Oh, it's not too bad actually, it's not very busy at all. So we want to be at or below 13,000 feet, 40 miles away. That'd be the ideal altitude. And we'll definitely make that and then some. So just going to maintain 7,000. So it's asking us to slow down to 220 now, which is a little bit earlier than I would have liked, but that's fine. It's fairly normal coming into the London airports to have to be given speed limits. I think London Heathrow are usually told to bring it right down to 185 knots on approach. Oh, it's changed now. It's 250 knots, and we're descending to 8,000. I'll leave it as is, and I'll change that to 1,800 feet per minute down. It's probably just a little bit high. Would have been like to be a little bit lower than 15,000 feet at 45 miles away, but that's okay. I am going to leave the ATC window open because it's going to give us conflicting instructions like it already has done. So tell us to go to 7,000, keep speed not above 220, and then it's almost in the same breath tell us to go to 8,000, speed not above 250. So I'm just going to keep that open just to see what happens. Once we're about 25 miles away, I'll change the speed down to 200, and then following that we can start putting out flaps 20 miles before we come into Gatwick. So I'm just going to adjust our rate of descent to 1,500 feet down, just to bring that speed down to 220 before we move to 200. See, this is why I've left the ATC window open, because now we are being told to go down to 4,000 feet. Coming down to 10,000, so we'll get the landing lights on. They haven't turned themselves on this time, so that's brilliant. Just makes me nervous that we're going to have the brakes coming on as we come into land, which is just going to be pretty shit. QNH update, so it's a 29.88 for now, but I reckon that'll climb as we get closer to Gatwick. Also watching the nav display like an absolute hawk because the autopilot seems to, the navigation seems to mess up, and the plane will just start vectoring straight towards the runway, which is to the airport, which is not ideal because it would give us no runway lineup or anything. I don't know why it does that. It doesn't do it on every airport. It just does it on a few. It has done it on Gatwick, but that was coming in from the west, not coming in from the east, which is the direction we'll be landing in today. So just keep an eye on that and see what happens. So I'm going to wait until we're 15 away from the final turn, drop the speed down to 200, then 10 away from final turn, we'll start putting flaps out. It looks like we're going to have a pretty shitty view coming down. We're going to go through this thick cloud. It's meant to be scattered at 2,200 feet. This looks like it's quite dense at around 6,000 feet. Oh, actually, no. No, I'm telling you lies. There. Look at that. That's just gorgeous. Okay, so we did deviate out of course just an absolute little bit before, and it looks like it's putting us back onto course, which I had an idea that it would do. I'm not sure why it does that. I don't know if it's going around weather, but it's not displaying feckle weather on the display today, probably because it's just cloud. There's probably no rain around. As we fly into a rain cloud. Wow. Just getting it wrong. So nothing's showing up on radar at all. Okay, so it's sitting at around 15 or 16 away. I'm going to drop the speed down to 200 now. And I'm actually going to reduce our descent to 1,200 feet because we are coming just a little bit low too soon. So we should be at 4,000 by May, which we definitely will because we've got 5 miles until we're there. And it looks like it'll be a 2,000 foot final approach. So once the USR hits the 10-mile line, we'll start pushing the flaps out. The forecast's not showing rain, it's showing scattered cloud. The sim is saying otherwise. We should have airport in sight up there, which we do. I think that's it in there, or is it over there? Oh, is that it there? That might be it there. Yeah, descend and maintain 2,000. Going to do that, but I'm going to do that at 500 feet per minute because we're just a little lower than I would have liked, and we are not following our, oh no, there we go, it's making our turn. So we're going to go flaps 1, and I'll put the speed onto auto. We should get an updated QNH by now. No, we haven't, it's still 2988. Okay, so go flaps to 2. While I'm there, I probably actually should arm the speed brake as well. And I probably will drop the nose just a little bit more, go down to 1,000 feet per minute just to get it down a little bit faster. Just so I'm not sitting too high to line up on the ILS. Because as you can see, it's quite a short approach. It's less than 10-mile approach once we've come around and we're lined up, which is why it's taking us, wants us to go down to 2,000 feet. Thank you. 2,500. I'm going to go to flaps 3. Just looking for the airport. It's sort of hard to make out because the scenery is a little bit shit. Oh, there it is there. There's the runway there. So runway is in sight. We should start making our turn. I will line up to ILS fairly soon. As soon as we get landing clearance, I'll get rid of this ATC window. Would be nice if I could have that on like an external screen like the iPad or something, but it's not really much of an option. Now, as soon as we're finished making this turn, I'm going to drop the gear and then set us up for landing. Get the ILS on now. So QH has changed to 29901 as predicted, and we've got we're cleared to ILS runway 26 left approach. So we should get landing clearance fairly soon. I am going to actually drop the gear now. And we will get our auto brake set to medium. It's a fairly long runway. It's over 3,000 meters in length. It is lining us up nicely. A bit gusty up here. So the wind keeps changing between 7 knots and 12 knots. But we will get the locator there. See my park brake just come on? It's doing it on landing. This is not good. Not good at all. And it's turning all our lights off as well. Spoiler was already armed anyway, so it didn't matter. But our vertical diamond is coming down for the ILS. Just keep an eye that it doesn't activate our park brake on landing. Okay, so we're giving landing clearance. Cleared to land 26 left. There is someone landing on 26 right. That'll be that EJU 8620 in front of us. So we're going to get rid of ATC. We don't need it for now. And we can start our approach, except every single time I do this, I forget to put that on. Go back onto approach, and I'll put our go around altitude at 5,500. Auto brake did it turn itself off? Did I just not turn it on? Anyway, auto brake is on. So before we get down to 1,000, we'll just do some final checks. So we have got landing lights on, seatbelts are on, flaps are at 3. They can actually go to 4 or full is 1,000. And speed brakes are armed. Parking brake is set to off, thank God. I am going to let the ILS bring us down as low as I possibly can because we have got that horrible crosswind which is gusting, and the direction is changing all over the place, but we are See, the landing gear just put itself up. I swear to God. And I bet my lights have all changed. No, they're all fine. But my landing gear put it at... it's so annoying. Anyway, we'll go into... turn autopilot off and we'll just take the rest down in by hand and try not to fudge this landing. We are coming a little bit low, so I'll just level us out just a little bit. It's always a test. I'm just not the best at landing at all. It's going to give us a go around because there's someone on the runway, but I'm going to ignore it because it's 10 o'clock at night here and I'm tired as fuck. And I'm way off to the right. I don't care. Oops, Jesus, my nose, oh my God. I just bounced my aircraft on a live stream. Far out. I looked away for 3 seconds. Sorry, I'm just gonna go up your ass. Sorry, mate. Wow. One day I will not fuck up a landing. So we're going to go past this exit here. You are trying to take off the wrong way on the runway, my friend, because the wind is going to be on your tail. Better acknowledge the go around, actually. Yeah. Let's acknowledge the go around. Better tune the ground and we'll go to gates. I'm going to turn the ribbon on because I have no idea where I'm going at this airport. I'll turn that off. I was almost certain that was going to be an okay landing, just a little bit off to the right, but clearly not. Once I make the turn, I'll turn the APU on and we'll fix up all the lights. Actually really pissed off at that landing now. Really annoyed. I thought that was going to be okay, but I just, I think I flared just a little bit too much. And then landed through someone. Okay, so we can retract the landing lights, they're no longer needed, strobe can come off. We'll get the APU started. We'll turn terrain off as well, just to tidy things up. And we can hit the APU start, let that do its thing. Oops, hit the wrong button. And we'll just taxi in. I wonder if it's going to take us to the Easyjet terminal. Probably not. It never seems to line us up properly. The more I think about that landing, the more I realise probably didn't just bounce, but probably actually absolutely destroyed the gear on touchdown as well. But it was just really, really terrible. The other thing that pisses me off too is all the flights that I've done not on stream, the landings have been absolutely fine. Maybe it's just the pressure of trying to be live on YouTube. trying to see what gate they've given us. Oh yeah, it actually is at the Easyjet terminal. That's interesting. So I'm going to turn that off because we don't need that anymore. I know exactly where I'm going. Actually, would have told us anyway. Oh, where are we? JRK. Oh, what was that? Who would know? The blank. Just slow down a bit. What does that say over there? Oh yeah, we'll keep going on this route. Oh no, we'll actually turn here, I think. Yeah, we do. Oops. Probably should give way to him, because he is not stopping whatsoever. We're going to move? Where's my park brake? Oh, my park brake was on. So this next one here should be K. It is, or kilo, sorry. Yeah, just drive in front of a taxiing aircraft. That's fine. I was probably told to stop there as well. Yeah, told to hold. Hold for ground traffic. What the actual fuck? Would never happen in a real airport, ever. So I think we are going to the end of this FBO here. We are. There's our gate right at the top of the screen there. Right amongst the Air France A320s. Actually, interestingly, when I was flying around New Zealand, the static aircraft are all Air France liveries, which is interesting because they wouldn't make it to New Zealand without doing a bit of island hopping. Okay, so where is our line up? Is it there? We're going to go past it. Just slam the brakes on. No, the next one. Is that one there? Yes. Oh, that's a terrible lineup. I went way past that. That was shocking. And I'm going way too fast. Come on, get back on the line. There we go. We'll get these engines off. And yeah, I hear you. That's only going to start again, that noise. Turn the taxi light off. Nav lights, yeah, there it is. Fucking, I just silenced you. All the lights off. Get seatbelt signs off too, since the jetway is connected, and we'll just start shutting some stuff down. We'll turn the APU off because we have ground power on. That is the flight done. So we are in London Gatwic. Sorry, I just pressed a button on my controller and I think I put my flaps out. No, it didn't. We are in London Gatwic after what I can only describe as one of the shittiest landings I have done this week. With a bounce, probably just complete destruction of the rear gear. And then terrible taxi in, but we almost managed to line up on the yellow line, just a little bit on an angle. And our passengers are going to have to do a bit of a leap to get from the one half of the jetway to the other. But it's Easyjet, it's a budget airline. What more can they expect? So if you did tune in, thank you very much for watching and witnessing my absolutely terrible landing skills. But like I said, they're not usually that bad. But anyway, streams are proving otherwise. So I'm streaming twice a week, Thursday nights, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. again Australian Eastern Standard Time, going into all sorts of different places. The next stream is actually into my native country, where we're going to New Zealand. So we're flying Wellington to Queenstown. Which should be, so it's a 9 a.m. departure from Wellington, so approximately 10:15 a.m. arrival into Queenstown. Hopefully the weather holds out and we don't have to divert down to